I enjoy reading.
Would you mind closing the door?
Chris suggested going to the cinema.
Suddenly, everybody stopped talking. There was silence.
I'll do the shopping when I've finished cleaning the flat.
He tried to avoid answering my question.
I don't fancy going out this evening.
Have you ever considered going to live in another country?
They said they were innocent. They denied doing anything wrong.
When I'm on holiday, I enjoy not having to get up early. I've given up reading newspapers. I think it's a waste of time.
Catherine doesn't want to retire. She wants to go on working.
You keep interrupting when I'm talking.
I can't imagine George riding a motorbike.
You can't stop me doing what I want.
Did you really say that? I don't remember you saying that.
Sorry to keep you waiting so long.
That's all right.
I don't mind being kept waiting.
They admitted having stolen the money. They admitted stealing the money.
I now regret saying what I said.
They denied that they had stolen the money.
Chris suggested that we went to the cinema.
It was late, so we decided to take a taxi home.
Simon was in a difficult situation, so I agreed to help him.
How old were you when you learnt to drive?
I waved to Karen, but failed to attract her attention. We decided not to go out because of the weather.
I promised not to be late. I enjoy reading. Andy suggested meeting for coffee. Are you thinking of buying a car?
I wouldn't dare to tell him.
Or,
I wouldn't dare tell him.
I daren't tell him what happened.
they seem to have plenty of money.
I like Dan, but I think he tends to talk too much. Anne pretended not to see me when she passed me in the street.
I pretended to be reading the paper.
You seem to have lost weight.
Joe seems to be enjoying his new job.
We asked how to get to the station.
Have you decided where to go for your holidays?
I don't know whether to apply for the job or not.
Do you understand what to do?
Can somebody show me how to use this camera?
Ask Jack. He'll tell you what to do.
We expected to be late.
We expected Dan to be late. Would you like to go now?
Would you like me to go now? He doesn't want to know.
He doesn't want anybody to know.
Do you want me to come with you?
Can you help me to move this table?
Or,
Can you help me move this table?
Can you remind me to call Sam tomorrow?
Who taught you to drive?
I didn't move the piano by myself. I got somebody to help me.
Joe said the switch was dangerous and warned me not to touch it.
I was warned not to touch the switch.
Jane suggested that I ask your advice.
I wouldn't advise staying in that hotel. I wouldn't advise anybody to stay in that hotel.
They don't allow parking in front of the building. They don't allow people to park in front of the building.
Parking isn't allowed in front of the building.
You aren't allowed to park in front of the building.
I made him promise that he wouldn't tell anybody what happened.
Hot weather makes me feel tired.
Her parents wouldn't let her go out alone.
Let me carry your bag for you.
We were made to wait for 2 hours.
I know I locked the door. I clearly remember locking it.
He could remember driving along the road just before the accident, but he couldn't remember the accident itself.
I remembered to lock the door, but I forgot to shut the windows.
I must remember to pay the electricity bill.
I now regret saying what I said. I shouldn't have said it.
Do you regret not going to college?
We regret to inform you that your application has been unsuccessful.
The president paused for a moment and then went on talking.
We need to change. We can't go on living like this.
After discussing the economy, the President then went on to talk about foreign policy.
It started raining.
Or,
It started to rain.
Andy intends buying a house.
Or,
Andy intends to buy a house.
don't bother locking the door.
Or,
Don't bother to lock the door.
it's starting to rain. I was very tired. I tried to keep my eyes open, but I couldn't.
Please try to be quiet when you come home. Everyone will be asleep.
These cakes are delicious. You should try one.
We couldn't find anywhere to stay. We tried every hotel in the town, but they were all full.
The photocopier doesn't seem to be working.
Try pressing the green button.
I tried to move the table, but it was too heavy.
I didn't like the way the furniture was arranged, so I tried moving the table to the other side of the room. But it didn't look right, so I moved it back again.
I need to get more exercise.
He needs to work harder if he wants to make progress.
I don't need to come to the meeting, do I?
My phone needs charging.
Do you think this jacket needs cleaning?
It's a difficult problem. It needs thinking about very carefully.
Everybody helped to clean up after the party.
Or,
Everybody helped clean up after the party.
can you help me to move this table?
Or,
Can you help me move this table?
I don't like him, but he has a lot of problems. I can't help feeling sorry for him.
She tried to be serious, but she couldn't help laughing.
I'm sorry I'm so nervous. I can't help it.
Do you like getting up early?
Or,
Do you like to get up early?
Stephanie hates flying.
Or,
Stephanie hates to fly.
I love meeting people.
Or,
I love to meet people.
I don't like being kept waiting.
Or,
I don't like to be kept waiting.
I don't like friends calling me at work.
Or,
I don't like friends to call me at work.
Paul lives in Berlin now. He likes living there.
Do you like being a student?
The office I worked in was horrible. I hated working there.
I like cleaning the kitchen.
It's not my favourite job, but I like to clean the kitchen as often as possible.
I enjoy cleaning the kitchen.
I don't mind cleaning the kitchen.
I'd like to go away for a few days.
Would you like to come to dinner on Friday?
I wouldn't like to go on holiday alone.
I'd love to meet your family.
Would you prefer to have dinner now or later?
I like playing tennis.
Or,
I like to play tennis.
I'd like to play tennis today.
Would you mind closing the door, please?
it's a shame we didn't see Anna when we were in London. I would like to have seen her again.
We'd like to have gone away, but we were too busy at home.
Poor David. I would hate to have been in his position.
I'd love to have gone to the party, but it was impossible. I don't like cities. I prefer to live in the country.
Or,
I don't like cities. I prefer living in the country.
I prefer this coat to the coat you were wearing yesterday.
I prefer driving to travelling by train. I prefer to drive rather than travel by train.
Sarah prefers to live in the country rather than in a city.
Would you prefer tea or coffee?
Coffee, please.
Shall we go by train?
I'd prefer to drive.
I'd prefer to stay at home tonight rather than go to the cinema.
Shall we go by train?
I'd prefer to drive.
Or,
I'd rather drive.
Would you rather have tea or coffee?
Coffee, please.
I'm tired. I'd rather not go out this evening, if you don't mind.
Do you want to go out this evening?
I'd rather not.
I'd rather stay at home tonight than go to the cinema. Who is going to drive, you or me?
I'd rather you drove.
Jack says he'll repair your bike tomorrow, OK?
I'd rather he did it today.
Are you going to tell Anna what happened, or would you rather I told her?
I'd rather make dinner now.
I'd rather you made dinner now.
I'd rather you didn't tell anyone what I said.
Are you going to tell Anna what happened?
No, I'd rather she didn't know.
Shall I tell Anna what happened?
I'd rather you didn't.
Are you interested in working for us?
I'm not good at learning languages.
Sue must be fed up with studying.
What are the advantages of having a car?
Thanks very much for inviting me to your party.
How about meeting for lunch tomorrow?
Why don't you go out instead of sitting at home all the time?
Amy went to work in spite of feeling ill.
I'm fed up with people telling me what to do.
Before going out, I phoned Sarah.
What did you do after finishing school?
The burglars got into the house by breaking a window and climbing in.
You can improve your English by reading more.
She made herself ill by not eating properly.
Many accidents are caused by people driving too fast.
We ran 10 kilometres without stopping.
It was a stupid thing to say. I said it without thinking.
She needs to work without people disturbing her.
I have enough problems of my own without having to worry about yours.
We decided to travel by train.
Would you like to meet for lunch tomorrow?
We went from Paris to Geneva.
I prefer tea to coffee.
Are you looking forward to the weekend?
I'm fed up with travelling by train.
How about going away this weekend?
I prefer driving to travelling by train.
Are you looking forward to going on holiday? She wasn't used to it.
She wasn't used to driving on the left.
She got used to driving on the left.
She is used to driving on the left.
Paul lives alone. He doesn't mind this because he has lived alone for 15 years. It is not strange for him. He's used to it. He's used to living alone.
I bought some new shoes. They felt a bit strange at first because I wasn't used to them.
Our new apartment is on a very busy street. I expect we'll get used to the noise, but at the moment it's very disturbing.
Helen has a new job. She has to get up much earlier now than before, at 6:30. She finds this difficult because she isn't used to getting up so early.
Catherine's husband is often away from home. She doesn't mind this. She's used to him being away.
She is used to driving on the left.
We're not used to the noise.
Or,
We're not used to it.
Paul is used to living alone.
Lisa had to get used to driving on the left.
I am used to the weather in this country.
I am used to driving on the left because I've lived in Britain a long time.
I used to drive to work every day, but these days I usually go by bike.
We used to live just outside the town, but now we live near the centre.
We talked about the problem.
You must apologise for what you said.
We talked about going to South America.
You must apologise for not telling the truth.
He doesn't approve of swearing.
We have decided against moving to London.
I wouldn't dream of asking them for money.
Do you feel like going out tonight?
They insisted on paying for the meal.
I'm looking forward to meeting her.
Have you succeeded in finding a job yet?
I'm thinking of buying a house.
Or,
I'm thinking about buying a house.
I don't approve of people killing animals for fun.
We are all looking forward to Andy coming home. They accused us of telling lies.
We all congratulated Lisa on winning the first prize.
Excuse me for phoning you so late.
What prevented you from coming to see us?
The rain didn't stop us from enjoying our holiday.
Nobody suspected the General of being a spy.
I forgot to thank them for helping me.
You can't stop me doing what I want.
Or,
You can't stop me from doing what I want.
They accused us of not telling the truth.
Excuse me for not replying to your email until now.
We were accused of telling lies.
the General was suspected of being a spy.
I apologized to them for keeping them waiting. There's nothing you can do about the situation, so it's no use worrying about it.
It's no good trying to persuade me. You won't succeed.
There's no point in having a car if you never use it.
There was no point in waiting any longer, so we left.
What's the point of having a car if you never use it?
I live only a short walk from here, so it's not worth taking a taxi.
Our flight was very early in the morning, so it wasn't worth going to bed.
What was the film like? Was it worth seeing?
Thieves broke into the house but didn't take anything. There was nothing worth stealing.
I had no trouble finding a place to stay.
Did you have any difficulty getting a visa?
People sometimes have problems reading my writing.
He spent hours trying to repair the clock.
I waste a lot of time doing nothing.
She said she couldn't see me. She was too busy doing other things.
How often do you go swimming?
I'd like to go skiing.
When was the last time you went shopping?
I've never been sailing.
I phoned the restaurant to reserve a table.
What do you need to make bread?
We shouted to warn everybody of the danger.
This letter is to confirm the decisions we made at our meeting last week.
The President has a team of bodyguards to protect him.
It's difficult to find a place to park in the centre.
Would you like something to eat?
Do you have much work to do?
I get lonely if there's nobody to talk to.
I need something to open this bottle with.
They gave us money to buy food.
Do you have much opportunity to practice your English?
I need a few days to think about your proposal.
We stopped for petrol. We stopped to get petrol.
I had to run for the bus. I had to run to catch the bus.
There weren't any chairs for us to sit on, so we sat on the floor.
I use this brush for washing the dishes.
Or,
I use this brush to wash the dishes.
I went into the kitchen to wash the dishes.
What is this switch for?
What did you do that for?
I hurried so that I wouldn't be late.
Eat something now so that you won't get hungry later.
She's learning English so that she can study in Canada.
We moved to London so that we could see our friends more often.
I hurried so that I wouldn't be late.
Or,
I hurried so I wouldn't be late.
James doesn't speak very clearly. It is difficult to understand him.
He is difficult to understand.
Do you think it is safe to drink this water? Do you think this water is safe to drink?
The questions in the exam were very difficult. It was impossible to answer them. The questions in the exam were very difficult. They were impossible to answer. Nicola has lots of interesting ideas. It's interesting to talk to her. Nicola is interesting to talk to.
This is a difficult question to answer.
It was nice of you to take me to the airport. Thank you very much.
It's silly of Ruth to give up her job when she needs the money.
I think it was unfair of him to criticize me.
I'm sorry to hear that your mother isn't well.
Was Julia surprised to see you?
It was a long and tiring journey. We were glad to get home.
If I have any more news, you will be the first to know.
The next train to arrive at platform 4 will be the 10:50 to Liverpool.
Everybody was late except me. I was the only one to arrive on time.
Carla is a very good student. She's bound to pass the exam.
I'm likely to get home late tonight.
This part of town is dangerous. People are afraid to walk here at night.
James was afraid to tell his parents what had happened.
The path was icy, so we walked very carefully. We were afraid of falling.
I don't like dogs. I'm always afraid of being bitten.
I was afraid to go near the dog because I was afraid of being bitten. Let me know if you're interested in joining the club.
I tried to sell my car, but nobody was interested in buying it.
I was interested to hear that Tanya left her job.
Ask Mike for his opinion. I would be interested to know what he thinks.
I was surprised to hear that Tanya left her job.
I was sorry to hear that Nikki lost her job.
I've enjoyed my stay here. I'll be sorry to leave.
I'm sorry to phone you so late, but I need to ask you something.
I'm sorry for shouting at you yesterday.
I'm sorry I shouted at you yesterday. I saw Tom get into his car and drive away.
He was seen to get in the car.
I saw Kate waiting for a bus.
He fell off the wall. I saw this. I saw him fall off the wall.
The accident happened. Did you see it? Did you see the accident happen?
He was walking along the street. I saw this when I drove past in my car. I saw him walking along the street.
I've never seen her dance.
Or,
I've never seen her dancing.
I didn't hear you come in.
Lisa suddenly felt somebody touch her on the shoulder.
did you notice anyone go out?
I could hear it raining.
A man was seen running away a short time after the break-in.
Listen to the birds singing.
Can you smell something burning?
We looked everywhere for Paul, and finally we found him, sitting under a tree in the garden and eating an apple.
Joe hurt his knee playing football.
Feeling tired, I went to bed early.
Kate is in the kitchen making coffee.
A man ran out of the house shouting.
Do something. Don't just stand there doing nothing.
Joe hurt his knee playing football.
Did you cut yourself shaving?
Joe hurt his knee while playing football.
Be careful when crossing the road.
Having found a hotel, we looked for somewhere to have dinner.
Having finished her work, she went home.
After finishing her work, she went home.
Taking a key out of his pocket, he opened the door.
Feeling tired, I went to bed early.
Being unemployed, he doesn't have much money.
Not having a car, she finds it difficult to get around.
Having already seen the film twice, I didn't want to see it again.